I checked out BAND-MAID stuff, like a good amount of BAND-MAID stuff this week, actually. I listened to Awkward for the first time. I also
Ah,
listened to the band Maiko version of Awkward for the first time. I think it's called Akasimahen. Um, as well as Freezer from like back in the day, like one of
dude,
their
Oh,
how awesome
yeah,
was that fucking song?
fucking banger. What
Isn't it?
the
It's got one
hell?
of
What a
the, that's like
banger.
I think it's my favorite solo. The
And then
rocking
we,
solos, man.
yeah, dude,
That's fucking crazy.
I
From
was surprised,
BAND-MAID?
man, because yeah,
Yeah.
BAND-MAID. It's called Freezer. It's like off one of the older albums, and
I
like
don't think
because
I've heard that
everyone's,
yet.
whenever I go back to their older albums, I expect less, but I shouldn't. It's just it's
Yeah.
foolish on my own.
I actually
part, you know what I
enjoy
mean?
some of their older songs a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me too. I mean,
Yeah,
listen,
oh.
we also watched a version of a live performance of that song, which was just absolutely terrible. Like the way that it was filmed and recorded and everything. But it was so nice to see like how far they've come as a band, because that was just it was the beginning. You know what I mean? I think it was
Yeah.
actually from the same show that we watched that birthday thing from, like on one of our first streams. Do you remember that?
oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it was from the same show as that. So the quality was really shitty, but it was really fun to see them doing their thing like really young live, you know? So that was cool. And I also checked out Day of Maid, the concert, you know, one of the many times that they went live during the pandemic, where they did like all of the B-sides off of the Unseen World album. So it was like, you know, like HGK and YYY and all those songs. So I didn't realize that that was what the set list was going to be. So like when I got into it, I was like, holy shit, they're playing these songs. What? That's crazy.
Where was this?
I did this on my Patreon. I did Freezer on my stream, and Awkward is up on the new channel. So, yeah, if you guys want to find my stuff, you got to look all over the world. Sorry about that.
I realized I forgot one huge thing.
Let's hear it, baby.
Interrupting this clip to tell you about our new sponsor, Nomsco.com, who have deliciously comfy apparel and accessories like food on shirts. Check it out. Awesome stuff. We got coffee love. We have Korean barbecue shirt. We got faux t-shirt, you know, full love. So they have a bunch of other stuff. Go check out the site. You get 15% off when you type in the promo code GG15 at checkout. So make sure you use that to get your 15% off. Back to the clip.
Let's hear it, baby.
I listened to the entire Made in Japan album
Oh
the
yeah.
first time over on my Patreon, and holy crap.
You can't see it.
Like you were just saying, I was shocked how good it was for their first album.
I just got my copy. It just looks white, but
Oh,
I just
nice.
got that so I can because I haven't listened to that whole thing. I think I've heard most of the songs, but I haven't like listened to it, you know, from as it was laid out.
So something that's really cool about that, the older stuff, is I think it kind of gets overlooked, is we got to recognize, hey, they were good writers, the people that had writing
Oh,
for
for
them.
sure.
And
yeah.
BAND-MAID executed it perfectly. You know what I mean? Because like I said, when I play Thrill, I'm just like, that's a rocking song. You know, it's a really rocking song. Like when we did that cover. So, I mean, that's really cool that they had good writers to help them ease into the path that they're in now. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
They always talk about how much they learned. You know, they were grateful for the writers and they learned from them. And they're always receptive to changes, suggestions, you know. So it's been, you know, when you're just learning about the band, it seems like, oh, they had, people are always like, they had writers, they didn't write their own music, but fuck, man, it's always like
Still got to play it.
the more you learn,
Yeah.
the more it was a collective effort. Everybody's
those
trying to help
original
each other,
writers-
and it's wonderful.
Yeah. And those original writers totally helped shape their current sound, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we owe part of BAND-MAID to them because
Yeah.
you can hear so much, like it's completely different like vibes that it gives you, you know, it serves a different purpose, like just great easy listening kind of stuff, but you can hear like little bits and pieces of stuff that bled into their more recent.
It seems like they were shown things that they wouldn't have thought about playing, and that kind of some of the heavier stuff. They're like, because they picked out what, you know, they picked what they wanted to play from what was offered to them, as far as I gather. So yeah, they picked the heavier shit or whatever they wanted to do. So it kind of gave them options that maybe they wouldn't have found on their own. So yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, and I assume that they like even would make little adjustments here and there also, just like, you know, somebody writes a bridge for them or whatever, and then, you know, they're going to throw a solo on. I'm sure that they have their own 2 cents to throw into those
Oh,
parts,
yeah.
because especially with those bridges and the solos from the older days, they're almost identical to what they do nowadays still. Like the solo from Freezer, I was like,
Dude.
Konami wrote this, bro. Konami
Yeah,
wrote
yeah,
this
I don't
solo.
think
There's no
anybody's
way
writing
anybody
solos.
else wrote this solo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like you're just saying, the important thing to remember too is it doesn't matter who wrote it, they were still performing it, you know?
Yeah, it was on
Still
New
them.
Beginning. Yeah.
Yeah,
That song is awesome,
you
dude.
know, I never discredited a song for other people writing it. I just appreciated it even more because the fact that they were able to, the person that wrote it was able to get their vision across to the other members of the band and execute it correctly is a task in itself to make sure that it's that solid, you know? And that's really
Absolutely.
impressive to do that, you know, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Because there's still great writers too, you know. Those are cool, you know. That's awesome. They made a living off that, you know. That like they wrote some really cool riffs, like like it's a cool riff. Like
Yeah.
that's really
and the
cool.
writers
Like,
are part of the band. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
to me, like that's part of the entire thing. You know
it's
what
the
I mean?
point
Like
of producers, you know. It's really nice to have an
Exactly,
outside
yeah.
point of view, and I'm sure they still have an outside point of view. Somebody be like, try this. Because, bro, those people that say try this, I remember I had a friend did that with a couple of my originals, and I was just like, and to this day, we'd be like, I'm so happy he suggested that because it made it so much better, you know? So it's really good to have an outside view of somebody that's either does play instruments, but maybe a different genre or even anything. Like, just people be like, I know. It's like, it's really cool to have that solid team. So I don't think the solid team behind BAND-MAID gets enough credit because I'm sure they have a really, really solid team behind them.
For more Gaijin goodies like you just saw, be sure to subscribe to the Gaijin Guys podcast and turn on all notifications to be part of the live stream every Sunday. You can also find us wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, etc. You can find even more exclusive content and reactions on our Patreon, patreon.com/Gaijin Guys. I'll see you there. Adios.